That's right, Q. There you go. I'd start by congratulating MD and Becky and the Aces. What an achievement that is, and um, you know, what a team. And all they've accomplished here in the last couple of years to do it back to back. I know it hasn't been done in 20 some years. That's tough to do. And takes there's a grind element to that. So really cool for them, really happy for them, and obviously this area and starting to become a pro sports town, and they're really doing a great job. So congrats, hats off to them. And we're Bear Friday.
Obviously, Jimmy can't go on Sunday.
Yep.
How difficult of a decision is that, or is it not a difficult?
It's a medical decision, so it's really.
Sorry, in terms of the replacement.
I think you measure it all out, and honestly, Vinny, it happens almost every week. It's just not necessarily at quarterback, but where there's somebody that can't play and Nate Hobbs can't go, and so, all right, Tyler's going to come up. Is it a Meek, Tyler? How are we going to share that load? You know what I mean? So it's kind of, I'd say, par for the course as a football team. It's just the quarterback position gets a little bit more of attention to it, but we just both guys are having a good week. Practicing. We'll see how today goes, and then we're just going to make the right decision. And I think, at the end of the day, both of them are going to be ready to go. I have confidence in both of them. The good thing, as we've talked about, is both of them have played already. So that's a unique situation, I'd say, so far. In 6 games, we've had 3 quarterbacks out there that have all competed in close games. So I'm confident in both of them.
A lot of times spots just happen open and they're kind of filled. It seemed like Tyler kind of really made a case for himself.
You're talking about Tyler Hall?
Yeah. To get this opportunity, you guys promoted him this week.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
yeah.
What has he done?
Yeah, he did it last year too when he had his opportunities. He went in there and he's just been productive. He knows what to do. He's a very smart kid. He prepares really hard. Very diligent when he's not on the active. He's prepared just like he's going to play. And then when we've elevated him a handful of times here in 2 years, he just, he does his job. He's dependable. He communicates well with the rest of the secondary and the defense. He makes plays. He's productive. He tackles. He runs to the ball. He covers. So and then he contributes in the kicking game too. So all the things you'd want a player to do that's on the practice squad, trying to get himself elevated to the game. Tyler does them, and then when he's ready to go, he's made the most of his opportunities.
Coach, how would you describe the addition of Robert Spillane and what he has done for your defense?
Yeah, this guy's a football player through and through, true professional, really tough, smart, cares a lot about all the details in the game. He's a connector. I think that's why he was voted as a captain so quickly. He just, there's really not anybody that doesn't relate to Spill in some way, shape, or form. He can talk to anybody, communicates with the secondary well, the front. Takes control of everything in practice, wants it done right, understands when there's a mistake made. He's very smart. So just a lot of confidence with him, having the green dot, being able to really set the table for our defense, understand situational football. It's just, there's really not a lot of things you can say that are negative about Spill. They're all positive. So just really happy we got him.
Has there been a bigger emphasis on the cleaner football, like you mentioned before earlier this week, where it's not penalties at the wrong times in the red zone and stuff like that?
Yeah, we've actually cut the penalties down, so to speak, but the inopportune times when we're getting them. We had 3 last week, and all of them ended up being in the red zone offensively, and it's those are hard ones to overcome because you're in 1st and 20 or 2nd and 20. And there's not a lot of space down there, to really, separate the defense and try to. Those are hard ones to convert. So, we've talked about it. I know our guys want to do it right. You know what I mean? There's no lack of that. And we're going to keep coaching it, keep working at it in practice. I think the guys, have the right mindset. Again, I've thought of it this way my entire career. When there's something you're not doing well, it provides an opportunity, for improvement, and if you can win a handful of games while you're, improving in certain areas of your team, and then all of a sudden you make that progress, eventually, the middle of the season, you're a different team than you were at the beginning. And hopefully at the end, you're the best version of yourself. So cutting down on penalties, cutting down on turnovers, eliminating big plays, continuing to play good in the kicking game, try to improve ourselves in situational football. Thought we made some progress on third down last week. Need to do that in the red zone now, and continue to try to play penalty free.
Josh, this is a second straight year where scoring is a little bit down in the NFL across the league, and there's some prevailing theories, one of which is defensive coordinators are really prioritizing the red zone. And as an offensive, coordinator, offensive head coach, do you sense anything that they're doing differently down there, or the elevation of intensity down there?
I don't say. I mean, it's anytime that happens, I usually kind of think it kind of it ebbs and flows a little bit. It's like a game of chess or checkers, if you will. I mean, you can do some things and move your pieces in a certain way, and it kind of creates a little bit of a, you might get into a rut a little bit, and then there's got to be a counter to that, and a response to it. So, sometimes I think looking at things early in the season is always can be a little bit misleading. Certainly if that's the case, you give the defenses credit. I think our defense has improved in certain areas in that regard too. The coverages and the things that people do down there in the red zone seem to go, everybody studies the top teams every year in the off season. And then there's usually a shift, towards, a scheme. A handful of years ago was the Seattle cover 3, and so people started to play that more. When I first came into the league, it was a lot of split safety coverage and max blitz and that kind of stuff, trying to double team your receivers. Now there's, I'd say there's some flavors that everybody are kind of favoring right now. But honestly, I think it just comes down to overall execution and continuing to press on and try to improve the things that you're trying to do offensively to score more points. And if you can do those things, then I think that trend will reverse a little bit or shift some. And that's what we're hoping for offensively. Defensively, we'd love to keep it where it's at.
Even though they're competing against each other, how would you say Brian Ware in his spot and Aiden both in their spots in their career, how have they been able to help each other through the process?
Yeah, I mean, it's really, I think the room is tremendous, in terms of their overall communication with one another, the relationships they've formed. You got one guy with very little experience, and he's siphoning all that he can from Jimmy, Hoy. They talk through certain things in the meeting room in real time. And I think the reality is none of them has a big ego. When Brian was going to back up Aiden, he was ready to go, supporting him, did all the right things like I knew he would, and he's done his whole career. Jimmy's been the same way when he hasn't played. So, it's just, that's the way a good room should operate and function. At the end of the day, one of them's going to play, and they should all want that guy to go out there and play well for the Raiders. And the goal is for us to win.
Whether it's in the red zone or elsewhere, how does an increased role for Zamir White help you out potentially? And have you noticed anything about his relationship with Josh Jacobs at all?
Yeah, those guys are, they're all pretty close, the backs. So JJ, really a good, it's amazing when you watch him and listen to him at practice sometimes when he shares bits of information and teaches some things, because he's done a lot of things at a high level going back to college, and he's seen a lot of things in the NFL, whether it's defensive front, a type of run scheme, ball handling, whatever it is. But he sees it at a little bit of a different level because he's done it, at such a high level for his career. And I think Z's trying to soak in as much of that as he can. Zamir's going to keep getting opportunities. It's what we need to do. For multiple reasons. It takes a few hits off JJ every once in a while, and then gives Zamir an opportunity to get in there and play. And Zamir's earned the right to do that. He's got good skill, good run skill. He's big, he's fast, he's tough, and he's improving in every aspect of his game. He caught the ball last week, had a couple chips. Like I said, so. I think those kind of things are good for our team. As many guys as can contribute, that makes our team harder to defend.
Coach, a lot of talk this week about the hip drop tackle. Is that something you would like to see banned?
I mean, whatever the end result is on this, we all got to coach it the right way. Look, nobody wants injuries, none of us do. We don't coach it that way. We don't want our players to get injured that way. I understand that this is it's a tough one to I'd say navigate, and because there's certain positions that a defender gets caught in where he might not even be trying to do that. It's just the only way he can possibly get the runner down. So it'd be interesting to see how this whole thing kind of shakes out. I get the protecting the player. I do understand that 100%. I think the way it's going to be worded or how they're going to explain it or how they're going to discuss it and vote on and all the rest of it, I think is going to be important because it's just you want to be able to make a rule so that the officials can officiate it properly and the coaches can coach their players to do it the way that it needs to be done, without committing a foul. So I'd say there's some little bit of gray.
We've seen Michael Mayer continue to develop. What about Trey Tucker? He seems like he's getting a little bit more burn as well.
Yeah, I mean, just the more they're, every week they understand it better. Repetitions in practice are important for them all. They keep working really hard to earn their opportunities, and those guys are both very diligent in terms of their preparation. They've improved their technique. I think they understand how competitive every play is at the National Football League now. They just keep grinding away. And, we thought that they would both help us, pretty quickly. And that's starting to, I'd say, hold true. We're getting a lot of contributions from a lot of rookies now. So, the more they learn, the better able to contribute they are. And those two guys are good examples of that.
You guys all set?
Good? Okay. Yep.
Thank you.